Next step and last step in the last few minutes, it'd be nice to have some texture. And so this mustache here, it'd be nice if it were like, oh, I don't know, had some texture like this. So what we're going to do is add texture. Here's some grass texture, some tree trunk texture, some water texture, some hair texture. So how do we get those? I added a little bit of highlights to the eye and ear on this one too, or that was the one I was working on, was it? No, I just did the same demo. Okay, so I'm gonna select this mustache here, hold shift to select all three of them. I could even group them if I want. And then I'll copy, paste in front. So I've got two mustaches now. And I'm gonna fill that with the texture. So where are those patterns? You find them in the swatch palette. And oh, the only patterns I see is pompadour and foliage. And I don't really want either of those. Wouldn't it be nice if, but look at this nice eye height gradient. I never did save the ear hole gradient. So see that gradient there? In the swatch palette, I'll say new swatch. And or I can do this as well. With this selected here, this ear hole, I can just drag right from here down in. And now I've got a swatch there, and I can name that swatch. Double click on it, and I'll name that swatch ear hole. And so if I wanted to have a nose hole, I could do that, but then I'm messing up this swatch as well. So anyway, that's how you do swatches. We're doing patterns now. I don't like this pattern here, and I don't see any more, but look in the swatches palette. There's this pull down menu here. You can go to Open Swatch Library Patterns, and there's all these different ones. And so there's basic graphics, lines, dots, textures. There's decorative, legacy, monster, and nature, animal skins, and foliage. I'm going to go basic graphics. So look at them all. I'm going to go basic graphics, lines. You don't need to make custom gradients at this point, or custom patterns at this point. I will teach you later in the semester how to make custom step and repeat graphics. This is not the assignment for that. So I'm just going to do basic graphics lines. And so I'm going to look here for something that looks like a mustache, and I decide that looks like a mustache, or that, which one will be best. And I think that looks fine, or that looks fine. So I'm happy with that, but it's really dark. That's just black and white. I wish it were less black. I could come to opacity. Opacity lives in this transparency. Two things. I could say be a lighter opacity, but now it's just gray, and I don't really like that either. So in the blending modes, which you should already know from Photoshop, I'll go to multiply, and there you go. Instead of black and harsh, now it's, I'll knock the opacity. I knock my opacity down to like 40%, and I have multiply mode, and now it looks like, you know, it's actual hair on him. I'll select this grass, and I'll copy, and I'll paste in front again, and I'll find something that looks like a grass texture. I have to go to my swatch palette again, and I'm going to go Open Swatch Library, Patterns, and Basic Graphics, Textures. I'll try that. And here's all these textures for the grass. I'll zoom up so you can see what I'm doing. So I'll find a grass texture I like, and I like that one, but I think to myself, I wish it were a lot bigger or a lot smaller or something. I've got these little marsh, so it's called marsh, and it's too harsh, and I wish it were bigger. And so this is really important. First thing I'll do is I'll change the opacity. I'm going to do the opacity last. I'm going to change the scale of that pattern here. And so what I'll do is I'm going to get the scale tool, letter S will give you this. Okay, never mind, Siri. Okay, so I don't know why that happened. I must have hit a key command. So I have this selected. You see it's just this pattern here. And I go to the scale tool, letter S. I'm going to double click on it, and this gives me scale. So what if I want this to be like 300%? And I'm going to click preview. Oh, wow, look what happened. I kind of like the size of those, but now I've got pattern all over the place. Why? Look down here, transform objects, transform patterns. I don't want to transform the object. That's that grass rectangle. So I'm going to uncheck that. There we go. I'm only transforming the pattern. I can make this 400%. Turn preview on and off. That looks nice. I like that. I click OK. Now I can come here into the multiply mode. Multiply mode's a darkening mode. Light and screen, those are lightening modes. So if I did lighten, it's going to be white. If I did screen, and then I could come in and change the opacity to make it seem like it's green, or I could do multiply and make it darker, and then knock the opacity. And so now instead of just being black and harsh, I've got green grass shapes. I'll do this tree trunk, and that's just a gradient. I'll copy, paste in front. I'll find a texture that looks like tree trunk to me, and I like that. And again, I'll change. I don't have to change the scale on everything, but I can. But on the opacity and the scale, this would be opacity. This is a good place to do opacity. So I'll say multiply and knock it back to where it's not so overpowering. And so just get texture on everything. The water, I'll copy that. I'll paste in front. I like that zebra stripe, so I'll go to that one. Swatch palette, open swatch libraries. Whoops. And I accidentally clicked one I didn't want. I'll try again. Open swatch libraries, patterns. I'm going to do, there's plants, nature animal skins, and here's a zebra skin. Here's a tortoise shell, a leopard, alligator. So I like that zebra skin, and I'll say that's good. I like that. I want to change the scale. I'll double click and tell that to be like maybe 200%, but I don't want to transform the shape. That's nice. Click OK, but now it looks like a zebra. It doesn't look like water anymore because white is a problem. Multiply will make white go away. I go to the blending modes, multiply, and I knock the opacity down, and now it looks like kind of like waves of water.